Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It is so good to see you. September 3rd, 2023. September 2023. This week has zoomed by. I don't know about for any of y'all, but if I'm a little discombobbled today, I hope you'll forgive me, because it's just been a crazy, crazy week. I forgot to put a placeholder on here. So let me do something really quickly so that anybody at the site going, where do we go? That hopefully they can find us. I see some people are finding us. Laura was the first person here. And then Debbie was right after her. So, I tell you, I just need to take a deep breath. So, we had a couple days of wonderful weather. Now it's going to be hot again for a few days. So, but luckily, August is done. I tell you what, it was a miserable month. Look at all of you people. Edwinice is here. Edwinice, hon, how are you doing? We were worried about you last time. You said you fell. Man, that's not good. So we're worried about you and just hoping that you're doing okay. Let me grab this. Let me put this on our site. We have, for some of you who might be tuning in who don't know, we have a Groups IO site, and that's where we kind of keep up with everybody. Okay, whoops. Let me put my glasses on. Today's live stream. Okay, I'll put this on so people who are saying, I didn't get a copy of her placeholder. Where is she? So there we go. Okay, so it's on the site. Now I don't have to worry about that. But it's, in some ways, it's been a very busy week. In some ways, it's been a good week. I'll catch you up first on my exercising. I know some of you are helping support me by jumping in there too. It's been a mixed review week, but I gotta say, the exercising I have been doing, I cleaned the entire house, dusting, vacuuming, cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the bird cages. I did all of that in 2.5 hours yesterday, which is pretty good. So, all right, got that set up. So, Edwinice is doing better. Good. Okay, so let's see I've told you about Laura's here and Debbie's here. Betty Meisner, hi, sweetheart. And Edwinice, we're so glad to see her back. BB, hello. BB sent in some great new pictures. Can't wait to show you. Pat is here. Pat, I'm hoping I sent you a connection to the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party because I didn't know what your schedule was going to be like. But Wednesday evening, this year's Myrtle Beach Quilt Party information came out. So by Thursday, I had all my choices put in the mail. So, but I thought of you, sweetheart. Hello, Kathy Klein, and there's our Marsha. Marsha was so sweet. She sent me an email to see how we were doing with the hurricane. Luckily, we kind of missed it. So, but some areas closer to the coast got hit pretty hard. And exercising is cleaning the house. So last night before I went to bed, I thought, I should exercise. And I went, I did. Isn't that terrible? But I mean, I hate exercising. But anyway, let's see. Meltem is here. Hello, sweetheart. How are you? I'm so glad you're back home. Can't wait to see your newest thing. You were snowbirding January and February, so you're planning on going. Great. And if you go to the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party, the registration's up. I meant to send it to you, but I don't remember if I actually did. It was in the middle of the night. And I'm not always the most clear-headed in the middle of the night. So, oh, it's so, oh, I love that icon thing you put on there. That's so sweet. But we love Melton. All right. So I've got some things to show you. I don't have that many exciting things. The good news is I found another tack gun. I put my quilts on my long arm using a tack gun because I don't trust myself with corsage pins. I know that I would be sticking myself every other minute if I use those. So, I've shown you in past videos when I've done work on the frame what a tack gun is. And I think Clover, a few other kinds had tack guns. And they're kind of out of fashion now, but I love using them to load my quilts. So what I do is go to eBay and look for good deals on tack guns and tacks. And oh gosh, 10, 12 years ago, I bought 10,000 of the red tacks. I can't find them now, but I bought a big container of them and I'm starting to get a little bit low. So I always keep a search going on eBay. But I found a very kind woman from, I don't have her. Do I have her box here? No, I have it over there. Sorry. But she was a lovely lady who was selling an unopened tack gun and tacks and very reasonable price. Yay. So that's the only new thing I think that I have bought this week, and which is good. That's a good thing. So, because last week we had to buy a new microwave, you know how that goes. So this week I spent a little more time outside, even if it was just to sit on the porch because we had a couple days of cool weather. I had planned on going for a picnic, but unfortunately, the day I wanted to go for a picnic, I was just feeling, my tummy was a little upset. So, but fall's coming and I'm going to go on picnics. So anyway, but the most exciting thing was Wednesday getting the Myrtle Beach quilt party information. When we do show and tell, I'm going to show you the Myrtle Beach quilt party site because and show you, I can't wait to show you the classes they're teaching this year and let you guess which one I chose as my first choice. So I was really excited because sometimes when I open the email, I'm like, I don't know what I really want. Last year, I did the exploding hearts and oh my gosh, making over 200. I thought I had let me see it. I might not have the pattern here with me, but I ran across it when I was looking for something. Aha, here it is. Okay. This is what I made last year at the Myrtle Beach quilt party. This is a big quilt. It's at least 80 inches because I think I put a border on it. So it's a big, big quilt. But this year, you'll have to wait and see. Because I'll get y'all to guess. While we're guessing, I received something in a shipment that was stuck inside this. And these are tubes that help, packing tubes, cushioning tubes. They're so amazing and so strong. Let me see if I can get it to open. I hate to throw this away. There's got to be something I can do with this. So I saw it again today because I'm trying, I'm cleaning up the room and cleaning out my basket that I carry. And I said, I've got to ask them, what would you do with this? There's got to be something creative that I can do with this instead of just throwing it away. Also, if I were going to throw it away, I would cut the ends off all the tubes to get the air out so it would deflate and be less obnoxious in our landfill. But anyway, because I think about those things, But anyway, if you can come up with an idea, I would be so grateful because it's cool. It's just a cool thing. This is where I get myself in trouble because I look at something like this and say, there's bound to be something creative I can do with that. So I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit longer. But if I don't think of something soon, I'm going to have to throw it away because I'm trying to declutter. But if you think of something, save for packing, I know, Marcia, but that's not creative. You're such a cutie. I love my Marcia. So this week, I've been working on 3 projects. The last time I put the Deco Art triple thick sealant on my journals, I did it in my sunroom with the doors closed because it was very hot. Well, when we had a couple 80-degree days, happy birthday, Jody! Jody's birthday and Bonnie's here. Oh, happy birthday, Jody. Isn't this a special birthday? Way to go, hon. And she's only 29. Sonia's here too. I've got pictures from our Bonnie who's here. I've got pictures from Sonia. And she just finished a gorgeous new quilt. It looks very complex. And 29 again. There she goes. I love that. And then, it's so nice. Happy birthday, September 3rd. Happy birthday, our Jody. I wish I could remember things like that. That would be so cool. So now I've just about finished these, and I'm trying to decide whether to put them on Etsy or take them to my retreat or take them to the Myrtle Beach because they have a yard sale thing, so you can come and bring things to sell. But I just wanted to show you the difference, why I like to coat them. It makes the fabric a little rougher in some respects, but it is tough now. And it won't get pulled or, snagged or anything like that. And remember I told you I was going to put closures on all of the journals because that way you can put a pocket inside. You can make pictures of things you want to create or whatever. And then when you finished working on it that day, you just close it. So I use the fabric that matches and then put Velcro on it and then put a pretty red button because of the colors in it. So this one has the little jewels on it. I tried to make each one of them different, but you'll see a little bit of a sheen. Let me bring my lamp over here. You'll see a little bit of a sheen because these are fabric and I wanted it to have a good covering. So, and then here is the closure for this one right there with the little charms and scissors on it. And I got these, I ordered these, and that way you can put your name, put a little print something on cardstock and stick it in that little thing. So most of them have that. Let me see. So I'm just showing you what I've done. Final here is this closure, and it has this 2 coats. I put 2 coats of sealant on the front, 1 on the back. And that way, if water falls on it, it'll shed the water off. Hopefully it won't get into your pages. Oh, I did think of one other thing I wanted to do. For some of them, I'm going to take and put a little bit of gold on the edges of the papers just to make them fancy. But let me see if you can. I do like that finish because it gives see how it's a little sheen? Because this also, most of them are covered in fabric. But, and then here is the page holder with a charm on it here. And this one, the closure comes from the back and fits on the front like that. So that's an easy way to close that one. Let me see. Here is this one with the finish. I love that sheen. Look at that. This really shows the sheen. You want to take number 3. Okay, we'll have to compare notes. But here's this one. I'll just zoom past these because you've seen them before. But this one has that same kind of banded closure. But I tell you, putting the finish on, it doing 3 coats. Oh, but I was telling you last time it gave me a headache. This time with the low temperatures, I was able to, and this one, look at this cute thing. It has a matching butterfly on the page thing. So, oh, you said you saw, at least 3. Yeah, in fact, I had no trouble putting my first, second, and third list. And Pat, if you want to go to the quilt party, get your registration in ASAP because the best classes go fast. So, and who knows what's the best? It's totally, totally your choice. This one is a sewing supply fabric, and it has a measuring tape bow and a thread on the button closure. This one came out pretty cool. Now, let me tell you about this one. Almost done. This one came from a mailing package inside the normal mailing envelope was this, and it's a vinyl bag that had the product in it. And I said, that is the prettiest design on that vinyl bag. So I saved it. I said, I would love that on a journal. So I saved it. And so when it came time to do this, I had to kind of flatten it out, and this is covering the little seam where they closed it, the lace. But I don't know. I don't know what people might think, but I just thought that is such a pretty, it just looks old fashioned. So, and I like, once I even put the sealer on this, and it, because, the vinyl, well, it's not going to be, I just thought it would give it a little more substance, and it does. And so, whoops, this one got bent in the process. The little closure was bent back, but I just love it. So now I'll just decide how I'm going to sell them and get them set up. But here's another one. You can see the sheen. This is another sewing themed journal. And I love the corner things, and I love the nameplates. So the name just could be, what am I going to use that for? Am I going to use it to keep track of my quilts? Am I going to use it for all my thoughts and my hopes and dreams? What am I going to use it for? So, okay. Then next, so I got all the coats finished on those. And then I've been working on our triptych, the new triptych, because the other triptych is pretty much finished. I need to do a little bit more thread painting. And this was supposed to be a triptych, but I started liking it again and didn't want to cut it in 3 pieces. I especially love those waves, and everything just started coming together. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the quilt, the thread painting, and then I'm going to quilt it, and then I'm going to put a fabric frame on it. So I didn't want to cut that up. So I said, what else can we do? So I found a wonderful inspiration, this. And if you look at the black line at the bottom, that's going to be a mountain range that I'm going to put in purple, because I was thinking, should I do a green to add ground to it, or what? I wanted to ground the sky. And then I said, I just drew the line for mountains, but purple. Oh, are you sure, Miss Marcia? You're so sweet. So now I started work on those. And I figured I'm going to have to make about 200 of them to get the size I want. So That is a good point, Miss Bonnie. She's saying if you're going to do a triptych, then cut your fabric before you do the stitching. You'll be closer to getting it down then. Yeah, that is a good point. Oh, let me finish talking about this because this week is a legend of a blue moon week. And so I thought, especially in honor of that, once I heard about the blue moon, I'm going to move the sun over. Which way? I'll probably move the sun over this way, and I'm going to put the moon up here. And I think that'll be so cool. So the moon will be in one section, the sun will be in the third section. So anyway, I'm excited about that. And I've been enjoying making these, making my blocks. I've got the pattern for free. I just sat, I kind of looked to kind of see what she was doing or he, whatever, because I'm not sure how that is exactly made. I couldn't find the information on it, but I drew up my own paper piece pattern. And here is one of my red strips. And I want to make it sparkle. I want to have enough of a variety of colors to make it sparkle. So this is one of my yellow strips. I'm going to have, I think, 3 yellow strips, 2 red strips, like maybe 3 blue strips, and about 2 or 3 orange strips. So just to show you what I've been doing is I thought instead of switching around, pick a color theme and do a bunch of, so I've got like a bunch of extra yellows. And then I just started my blues, and I love these blues. I've got only one of my purples for the mountains. Here is an orange one. And I put this batik had a yellowish look to it. So I put all kinds because I really want it to sparkle. And then I've got a bunch more of my red. And most of the time I used a light color center, but sometimes I used something just a touch darker. And that again is just, you can't just see a pattern that easily, so they sparkle. So anyway, so now I'm working on my blue, and I will work on some of those and just show you how I do it after our show and tell. But I think that it's going to be fun. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do every row totally together, because what I really should do is start assembling them like at the left and move across and go down the top. How many? Oh, speaking of that, I need to draw a pattern. That would be a good thing to do on here. So I'm going to get some of my golden threads paper, and I need to make a pattern. I've been thinking, how do I do this? How do I put this together? And I want to be able to get these strips. So by making a pattern, then I will know just where to cut each of the wavy lines and how to place my blocks so that I can make the best use of them. Because I don't want to just cut them willy and nilly. I've worked too hard on them. All right. The other thing I've been working on, I'll show you and tell you. I always love telling you any problems I have with it, because then if you run across those same problems, you'll go, oh, I remember Deb had this problem. Or maybe you'll be creative and invent a new problem. But I've been working on the stained glass. And here is what I have done so far. And I love this. I love, love, love it. So after I get all the pieces put on, then I'm going to, once I get all the pieces put on, then I'm going to edge zigzag stitch with a monopoly filament, clear and visible. And then I'm thinking, so far as quilting it, I don't know, but I'm thinking of just quilting in the ditch between the appliques, because it's hard to quilt on appliques. So if any of you have any ideas, let me know. But this is a wonderful scrap buster. It's a quilt that you can do sitting in your recliner, enjoying yourself after dinner, watching television. We have binged watched several shows while I've been making this. Now, I told you I had a problem. All right. Last night, I wanted to get this page over here completely done. I would have liked to have gotten the whole thing done, but I ended up cutting out 50 pieces of, let me show you. Page number 2. Oh, this is already glued on. Well, this is what the pattern looks like, right? So I took and printed the pattern onto freezer paper. That way, I cut the piece out. I iron it with one of those little mini irons so I can have it right there beside my chair. So I cut the piece out, iron it on the fabric on the front because I didn't reverse it, which has worked out really good because it's so much easier to get the paper off. The problem I have, if you put the paper behind it, and then I am taking and finishing all the edges on this. So all these have been tucked under. If you do that, you want to remove your freezer paper because it's not archival. You want to remove your freezer paper. When I try to remove the freezer paper, it always makes the edges of the applique kind of splay out. And then you kind of have to re-iron it back into place. So that's been a problem. So I forgot to reverse the pattern when I printed it, but it's worked really good because I'm still able. I cut a piece out. Here's the bottom page that I partly started doing, but I cut the piece out, iron this on the right side of the fabric, and then I clip any curves, but I leave an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch seam allowance around the entire piece. And then using a glue stick, this has been any kind of glue stick like this you have. Don't buy the cheap ones. I had a cheap one somebody gave me for free. Awful. But use a good Crayola, or this is Elmer's glue. Use this or use a quilting glue stick, and you put the glue on the wrong side of the fabric so you can fold the seam allowance back. But I took and cut out like half a page of these, worked them all at the same time. I said, let's assembly line it. It'll be faster. The problem was that I couldn't really see the outline, the chalk outline I had done on the bottom of that page. By the time I did all this stuff, I did it on top of it. I should have removed the quilt. I kind of ended up rubbing the chalk off. So when I was this morning before the show, I had a little mini meltdown because I realized my pieces weren't quite going back where they should be. And then I couldn't find a couple because there's so many, like 50 at once. I will never do that again. I will do just a couple at a time so everything gets placed before I have a chance to lose it. I mean, if you sneeze, these little pieces will blow away. So what I ended up doing, and for me, this was tough to do. I had all the pieces left to finish down to here. So I had all of these pieces. Well, when I tried moving them around, because I do the final tack down. I use a glue stick to glue under the seam allowance. But then when I go to glue them down on the fabric, I don't want them to move. I use tacky glue. Tacky glue, once it's dry, it's on there. So I'm trying to pull these pieces of fabric off. They are shredding apart. The glue doesn't want to let go. There was a mess of nasty glue spots and threads all over this. I had a meltdown. I'm like, I can't do this show. Well, I can't show them this project looking like this. Oh my goodness, it's been a hard week. Oh my goodness. I gotta be honest. Mark and I had a little spat yesterday. I get very unnerved by spats. You know what? If you don't have a spat once in a while, then you're not communicating. So it shouldn't have unnerved me, but it did. And I'm such a sissy. But anyway, and I just see him as so strong, and it's like, whoa, but everything's great. He's so calm. He doesn't get flustered like I do. I get all flustered. So anyway, so I tried peeling them to move them. The stupid musical on the TV is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Let me tell you, ladies, that is not a movie I will ever watch again. Russ Tamlin and who's that lead? Big, handsome fella. Anyway, they're singing a song about we should go kidnap these women so we can have we can have brides too. And then something about the song of they might seem frustrated or angry or whatever, but inside they're really happy. And you just have to grab them and take them back and by force, and they might be angry, but inside they're secretly happy. And I'm thinking, boy, no wonder Me Too happened. And then I told him when I was a child, I was so little and I didn't really understand it, but I watched Carousel. That is the worst movie for any young woman or any young man to see. It rarely comes on, and I'm glad, because in Carousel, he hits the wife, and she said, "Oh, he really loves me." Then the daughter sees him, and he's kind of a ghost, but he gets so angry because he got killed doing some bad stuff. And as when she graduated or whatever, the ghost, she saw the ghost. And she had an argument with him or whatever, and he slapped her. And somehow the force, she felt it. She came back and told her mother, "You're right, Mom." Something to the effect, when they hit you with love, it doesn't really hurt. Wait a minute. Now I watched that movie again a couple of years ago, and I went, that's it. I'm done. I am done. And don't believe it. When they hit you, it hurts, and they have no right to do it. So I was watching, Mark's like, uh-oh, here she goes. Because I'm watching Seven Brides for Seven Brothers thinking, what? If she says no, she secretly is saying yes. I said, Mark, sometime why my little feminist kind of rage comes out? This is exactly why. That movie was made 2 years before I was born, and I was told, be a good girl. Always put a smile on. Always be pleasant. Let the man win at playing games. Are you kidding me? So anyway, Mark's going, oh, yep, I can see it. He said, that is bad. That is awful. I said, yeah. And I said, I felt like movies, they had such an influence on people. And how dare them? How dare them put that kind of garbage out there? So anyway, I know I didn't need to get on my soapbox. I just was, oh boy, let me tell you, I get furious, and I remember trying to introduce my children to Leave It to Beaver, those kind of shows. And my first two children were daughters. And I'm watching this with them going, what? She has to have pearls on to clean her house? What? He's sitting down reading the newspaper, but she has to clean the house, cook, and do darning? What? So it's like, okay, take all that stuff, throw it out the window, be done with it. So anyway, I do not want to go backwards. Let me tell you, I do not. So I marched in Washington, D.C. several times, and I mean it still. So anyway, sorry I got into all of that, but no wonder I kind of was having a meltdown between this acting up and listening to the misogyny on Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I'm like, let me just smack them. So anyway, but what I did to handle it, I ripped all of them off that were the wrong ones, threw them away. I'm going to have to redo them. Then I took a warm rag. I was able to wash all the threads and the blobs of glue. I was able to wash all of that off. Now, this tells me what I want to do. Once I zigzag everything down, I'm going to gently soak this in a sink of warm water, and I'm probably not even any soap, just warm water, so that any glue that's stuck to the pieces where I don't want it to be, or any glue that's discoloring it, will then come out. Then I can quilt it. So it's nice to know that tacky glue will stick when you want it to, but then you can use warm water to wash it off. Isn't that good? So does Mark have a brother? That's so cute. Actually, he has two. So, and they live, I've never met them face to face. I've talked to them. But anyway, but Mark's the oldest one. And as far as I'm concerned, he's the gem. All righty. So I just wanted to show you these. So now, that's right. So now what am I going to do? Because I have ripped off the pieces that weren't quite in the right place. I ripped those off. I've thrown them away. So I need more freezer paper so that I can make new ones. So all I'm doing, I'll show you. Freezer paper only works if the iron is preheated. So, okay, here we go. Okay. Now, there's a part of me that wishes I could go back. I wish I had had 6 lifetimes to do all that I wanted, but go back and study anthropology, because human nature is really interesting. So let me come over here. Let me drop this down. So here is the pattern for page 2. Whoops, get back up there. I forgot to have Mark tighten that arm, so I'll have to get him to do that soon. But anyway, I'll have to ask him. So let me make sure this is, I don't want to put too much heat on this, because then I want it to be able to stick to, hi, So Fun. Thank you so much. I get carried away sometimes. I'm so lucky that these ladies are so patient with me, because, oh boy, I get riled up. Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I cut the size freezer paper I need to redo some of these. I ironed it. what's the best iron? Your iron is junk. Actually, I've got to tell you, I like Black & Decker. I try to only pay $30, $40 for an iron. And although I have told Mark that I want Santa to bring me a cordless iron for Christmas, because I think I'm ready to try cordless. I hate that cord, but I have used Black & Deckers as my big irons for years. So, and you can buy them just about anywhere, and they're not fancy, but then they don't have a lot of extra things to break. So anyway, by ironing a piece of freezer paper to this, then I can come in here and make new pattern. Just that easy, because I was thinking, oh no, I've got to make new pattern. I've got to make new pieces. And this, then I went, I just have to put a piece of freezer paper on the existing pattern, and then I am fine. And I can see, you can see too. You can see right through it. Now to put this in chalk, I have to use a light pad because my background is black fabric. But just take your marker, try to keep your lines thin. Sometimes when I was first drawing this, some of my lines got a little thick, and that will throw your pattern off. So keep that in mind. But now I can start again on the part that was giving me trouble. And I don't know if you saw last week, I have my scrap fabrics. In a bead storage container. So they're already there. I've got plenty enough. And now I'll just pick up and do it again. So if you find that your fabrics start getting frayed, or some of the fabrics, this cheap glue stick that I was using, which I will not use anymore, was gumming up, wetting the fabric so much, gumming it up, that it was making it nearly impossible to get it off my fingers. So, use a good quality glue stick, and either a quilting glue stick or Elmer's glue stick. I love using the Elmer's because, especially like right now, you can get them from Walmart so cheaply, because even though I haven't had a child in school in years, I still love the Walmart school sale, because you can get notebooks and pens and pencils and white erasers. You can get all of that very cheaply. All the different papers, glue sticks. So it's really, really nice. Really nice. So be thinking about that. It's a good time to kind of stock up. And now I'm using a thick Sharpie, which I'd rather have a thin one, but I was looking around and that's all I saw. Now, as you can see, I've drawn all that on there. All I have to do now is use a regular ink pen and number them. And I like writing on what color I want to use for that. Lisa, no apologies, sweetheart. Oh, Crafty Pat loves her cordless iron. Yeah, I said, I know what I want from Christmas. So anyway, see how I barely just lightly touched it down, because I want to save enough of that plastic stickiness to go on the fabric. Okay, so to be able to fold those fabrics back, get that folded, to get the folded edge, you have to have the freezer paper firmly ironed on that fabric. And that way, when you turn it, it'll be nice and crisp. All right. So I think let me grab, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use freezer paper to make the pattern. Let me ask my birthday girl, Jody. Let me ask my birthday girl, Jody. Would you use a big piece of freezer paper to make this overall pattern, or would you use the golden threads? And anybody, but you don't have to just be Jody to answer. But I love Jody she's so good at this stuff. So I might be the one on here talking and saying hi, but I've got some really good experts in you guys in there. So I'm just trying to decide. I want to have a pattern so I can cut the pattern piece, lay it on top of the fabrics, and, be able to figure it out. But I'm thinking, build it. If you're right-handed and want to start at the right, fine. I'm left-handed, so I'm going to start on the left. Build it this way, vertical rows. And that way I can kind of, but I'm just trying to think when I make this pattern, I think I want it stiff enough that I can really cut it. If I do freezer paper, I can iron it. I can put all these blocks in order. Let me grab some freezer paper. Okay. It's so nice to see you. So fun. We have, we do a show and tell. And in fact, let me type my email address for you. And if you want to share any photos of your work or your flowers or whatever makes you happy. Okay. So my email is our time to quilt. And that's at pwc.com. Let me see if I did it right. I don't have Bonnie anymore saying, Deb, you need your glasses on. Now, we also, so fun, we also have, whoa, oh my goodness. Wow, now you've got plenty of stuff to work on, Edwinese. But I was going to tell you, we have also a free Groups.io site. So if you'd like to join that, and that is like the old Yahoo sites, and we can share patterns and chit chat and ask questions and all of that. So, okay. Could you add the purples to the bottom of some of the yellow blocks at the tops of the mountains? Then you wouldn't have to cut. Yeah, I was thinking of that. The thing is, I love the swirled look. So I know that I'm making extra blocks just to be cut, but I really want it to be free form. I love that, just that wave of color. So I know I'm going to have to cut and waste some, because even for like the red stripe and everything. So that's where, I'm thinking freezer paper because it's got such a nice hand to it. All right, now there's only one problem with this. I'm making 12 blocks across. Now let me see how many down. Looks like 11 blocks down. And these are measuring 3 inches, 2.5 by 11. Now okay. So I'm going to have to add a little strip to my freezer paper to get it the right size. But let me do this really quickly. And 2.5 times 12. 2 times 12 is 24. And then a half would be 6. So 30 inches. I need it 30 inches. You know what I like about this? Miss Jody taught me this. I can if I want to draw this pattern, I can lightly tack the freezer paper down onto my ironing surface and then draw the pattern. So I'm going to do that. So I need 30 I'm going to leave extra inches just to make sure. So I'm going to say roughly 36 inches. So I'm going to get out one of my cute little tape measures, and I'm going to measure out 36 inches. There. Oh, turn it over. Now one of the things I do to make my room very usable, all of my horizontal surfaces have, and since I cleaned out this drawer recently, I can find it for you. I have sticky tape measures on the front edge of all my horizontal cutting table, sewing table, and that stuff's great. It is great. All right, so I need 36 inches, not centimeters. I will be lost if I try to do centimeters. Okay, so 36 is about there. All right. This is the cutest little thing. Now, how do I? Oh, it has a button on the back. Woo. But isn't that cute? Somebody gave me that. I love it. All right. Now, let me get my paper scissors and cut this at 36 inches. All right. This doesn't have to be perfect. So, and that's good. And in fact, I might not put that. I'm going to have a couple more inches on the bottom. But for right now, let me work on this. I'm just going to tack the freezer paper down lightly so that I can draw the pattern on it. Okay. Now, I'm just noticing while I'm tacking this down, it crunches just a touch. So that means it is shrinking up just a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Now, when it comes to making this pattern, it would take a lot of sheets. I'm thinking you may have to try this on your own. Normally, I try to give you patterns for everything I can. This might not be a good one for that. So come over here. Yeah, it's just like it's a virtual quilt guild or quilt sewing bee or whatever you want to call it, our community. All right, so it's 36 inches by 18. It's going to have to be a little longer, and I will do that. What I'm going to do is start up near the top, and I might put a little bit of the red up there, but I don't want it to be very much. Let me tack this down up here. But see, by ironing this on the ironing board, then I can still pull it up and use it. All right. So I know that I'm going to put my moon over on this end. So I'm just putting a little light mark. My sun is going to be this end like that. All right. So I'm going to come in here and have just a little bit of red on the top here. Just a little bit. So this means a lot of partial reds. Then I'm going to come through with a pretty good size swath of blue. And go up like that. Okay. So here's my blue. Now, in this blue is going to be my moon. Now, you might say, well, how will I know how to make the moon? You can use a saucer. You can use any round shape to make the moon. What I'm going to do is see how they've done with the sun. They have used the yellow, really pale yellow blocks of the sun. What I'm going to do for the moon, I was thinking about using yellow green because you know how they say that the moon is, hi, Mitty. It is so good to see our Mitty. So, but I'm going to do a pale yellow green for the moon. Now, let me see. Okay. All right. So now this next one is going to be, now I'm going to have a few more inches down here. This next one is going to be a yellowy orange. Let me see. I don't want these slopes to mimic each other too much. So this one, I think I'm going to come like, okay, this is blue. This is red. This is going to be, I'm going to do this slightly different so that everything isn't too much the same. I don't want to do it so different that it jars you. Oh, okay. So what I'm doing really right now is I'm making the red. Here's the red swoop. And it's going to come like this. Okay. So this is red. And this is yellow, orange. Then this is going to be, this will be yellow here, yellow, orange. And then the mountains are going to kind of come up here and they're almost going to touch this red here. So here is the mountain like this. Then it's going to come down here, slightly up, down, up, down. Okay. So, and then I'm going to have another little strip here. So these are purples. Because I was trying to figure out how am I going to get this to lay out the way I want. Now, I like the idea that in the yellow, orange, and red section, I'm going to have that sun. Now, the thing I do like is this person, whoever did this design, put a little lighter of the red strip across, a little bit more of made it paler than the rest of the red. I like that. So this will be an orange red part of this sun. This is the sun. And then this will be pale yellow sun. Okay, so here is my sun here. My moon is over here. And this will be a yellow green. Or you know what? Not even a yellow. I'm going to do it like an off-white or gray green or gray, white, green. Okay, so that way you know they're two totally different objects. All right, and then later I'll come along here. I'll put another strip about this wide down here. I'll glue it to this, and now I can just lift this back off. And the window's not so bright that you can't see. But now I have a pattern of how I want this to work. And I like the size because I can divide it. Let me come back over here. I can divide it pretty good. You know, have a bigger middle and smaller on each side. And that way the sun will be here, the moon will be there. Okay. I like that. I like it. All right. So I'm hoping that helps you. I just kind of worked it out here with you. And I tried to put Jody hat on. So our birthday girl hat on. All right. So now I'm going to gently fold this so I don't mess it up. And since I just did it in pencil, I can always come back and tweak it a little bit. And then I think once I do it, I know then, yes, that's how I want this to be. Then I'm going to come in here and do a marker on it because it really helps me keep it focused. And what I might do too, when I'm just making sure, is this going to be the design? I'll measure my paper piece blocks and see if there's a way to make the design without wasting too much of this. So that's a lot of work. So Now we're going to do show and tell, and then I'm going to come back and show you what my thoughts, what is my process of making these blocks. I've got to close the blinds. They're very bright. Hold on just 1 second. Okay. Oh, yeah, that helps a lot. I can't show you anything if it's that bright. Okay. Excellent. Then I'll turn off this light. And now we'll get ready to do show and tell. All right. Here we go. Now, there aren't that many pictures this time, but you've been busy. You've had summer. I understand. We're not going to worry one bit about that. Okay. In fact, I don't even have pictures to show you. Oh, we've got a big rabbit in the yard, and that rabbit has eaten all of my green beans. It started with the green beans. The green beans themselves, then has eaten all the leaves. All I have now are stems, and I was so looking forward to having my green beans. So, all this wildlife, I tell you, I'm about done. But the good news is that motion detector sprinkler head has done wonders with making the raccoons move somewhere else. And I've also, there's our Mary. Mary's got her granddaughter coming to visit soon, so I didn't know she'd be here. Yay! Grow more beans. You know what? I guess I could throw out, well, yes, I do have more string bean seeds. I am going, and you know what? I'll say, Mark, can we put some stakes in the bottom of the fence netting around the garden so that big old bunny can't squeeze under the fence? Yeah, because it's a mesh kind of fence, and he just pushes through it. It's like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, oh, that's so sweet of you, Mary. Happy birthday to Jody. So that's cute, so fun. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's go see some pictures of what you've been doing, especially since I don't have any of my own to show you. So I have loved having this extra time this coming up week. Get ready because we're going to go back to our Art Quilt Thursdays. So let me go back to, okay. And let me see. Let me show you. I'm going to show you the inspiration for the stained glass. Here that is. And so now when you look at my stained glass quilt, it might make a little more sense. I have a free pattern of this. So just send me an email, or if you're on our group, it's under the file section. So I wanted to show you that. And then the triptych that we're working on, I got all of these ideas. I love doing the research. And here is the one that really captured my imagination the most. And I just love the gentle swirls. And then with a purple mountain's majesty right down here. I think that would be so nice. So I'm loving that. And I love the red, the orange, the yellow, the blue. I love all of that. Great colors. Okay, so now go back and see what y'all are working on. And Anne, oh boy, is she a busy lady. Here's a beautiful picture of the sky out her way. It is just lovely, lovely, lovely. So I appreciate, she said she wanted to show us because the clouds are so low, but still vibrant. Isn't that beautiful? I love a big sky. Here we have so many trees. I don't get many chances to see big sky. And then here is her wonderful collection of farm animals that she has worked on. Let me bring them a little closer just so you can see them. I just love her outlook on life and her artistic nature. She's getting ready to do an ocean or beach quilt. So she's got a whole bunch of things that she gathered up from her stash, and she's working on getting her inspirations going. And I love that. I love that. Okay. And here is her sugar skull. These have really taken, people's interest, and I think they're adorable. Well, let me bring this back up. Isn't that just cute? And I love the fan hat it's wearing. Okay. Here is, oops, I'm so sorry. Let me try this again. Here's one of her cow collage landscapes. Just so cute. Gosh, I love them. She has a very strong signature that we love. Here's another picture of the sky out her way. And I think she's somewhere not far from Chicago. I'm not sure, though. I hate to say that without being sure. But isn't that a beautiful sky? Okay. And then she made her first bird applique. I love it. And she does, I think, what Jody does, which builds the bird on a non-stick sheet. At least I think that's what she did, and put all the pieces together. So she did a really good job. She's come in here to do some thread painting on it, did a machine, or no, maybe that's hand appliqued eye. So she's adding, and then she did some thread painting to differentiate the feathers. So way to go, Miss Ann. She is really doing a great job on her art. And boy, doesn't art make you happy? Now, I'm hoping that this is Betty Meisner because I just love this jacket and I want to give the right person the credit. But this is a Bargello. See the Bargello strips in here? And so this is last week we can show you this, but I just love how the strips were incorporated into this sweatshirt jacket. Love it. And on the back, I love having a little surprise and a little house. That is so neat. Okay, now I've got another Betty Meisner folder. This is her Bargello quilt. We did a Bargello class back in July, and it was a lot of fun, and y'all just outdid yourselves. So I hope to this winter we'll have another live class, and we do it in Jitsi, which is kind of like Zoom. And it's really nice because we can all talk to each other and work, and you can get real-time answers. So that is beautiful, Betty. Love the border you chose with it. Love it. Okay, so a lot of talent here. Then Miss Bibi has been busy. I love it. And one more shot at the back of her beach quilt because I think this is awesome. Well, my hands are not very steady today. I apologize, all this jumping around. Oops. Okay, come on, Deb. Here is the back of her beach quilt. And when she quilted it, she used the same color thread for the front and the back. So look at this. Isn't that a wonderful negative image? That is just beautiful. And it gives you a chance to see her thoughtful stitching. Just how she did everything. Beautiful. And then let me zoom past real quick to show you the front. Here is the front of her quilt. And I want you to notice her umbrellas, the lacy waves, the rocks, and the woolly yarn grasses growing in front of the beach fencing. That's wonderful. Okay. Now look at this. She also does beautiful tatting work, lace making. I mean, is that just beautiful? That is quite the treasure. Now, I'm not sure if this is a hand crochet or if I don't know. And is she still here? I'm hoping she can just briefly tell us. I'm just in awe. I'm in awe of this. Isn't that beautiful? Mm-mm-mm. Oh, look at this. That's that last, that is that one laying flat. Isn't that beautiful? To me, that is genius and a real labor of love. Isn't that just beautiful? Mm, okay. And then for fun, she did an eyeglass case. And look at this precious eyeglass case. She did a sunbonnet Sue and a sunbonnet. I'm trying to think what's the dog's name? Sunbonnet Sue, Sun and Spots. But isn't that cute? I love that eyeglass case. That is precious. So thank you, BB. You always throw in talent and humor, and I love that. Our Miss Bonnie is so busy. Oh my goodness. I went to her blog site this week and was amazed at everything. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Okay. I was amazed at all she's working on. Look at that applique. Beautiful. And then she's getting ready. Well, I need to. There we go. I hit a button that I thought would make it easier to enlarge, but it just took away all my options. So look at this. Now she lays out, she has a beautifully organized collection of floss, and she's laid out the colors so that she can do hand embroidery over these. Isn't that wonderful? I'm so glad that her eyesight is coming back for her because she's so talented. Then I sent her a piece of what to me looked like black work. And look what she is bringing it to life. Is that gorgeous or what? I love that. And what a great idea to make something comforting to work on, relaxing to work on. That's wonderful. And she's turning a scrap of fabric into a treasure. So this is wonderful. Look at that. Isn't that great? And her colors, the choices of colors are exquisite. Beautiful, beautiful. Then she's working on hexagons. Oh my goodness. Oh, and they're not that big either. First, I thought they were big, but I'm looking up next to her keyboard. They're not all that big. Oh my gosh. That's neat. I love her hexies. And then she's working on her Lily the Dragon quilt. And here's Lily and some random friends. And so then she wanted to show everybody this is what she's working towards completing. This is what she's working on this month. That's enough choices for sure. Isn't that great? And here's her real black work that is just exquisite. So tiny. All right. Thank you, Miss Bonnie. I love it when y'all send pictures and photos because it inspires the rest of us. Like I said, I don't have anything good to show you. I apologize. I did though. Ooh, I got my first tomato. Yeah, I guess I do have. When we get done with this, I'll see if I can bring up some of the pictures on my phone. But here is Miss Debbie's quilt. It is beautiful. Let me get this bigger too. Isn't this beautiful? And I love the grasses she put in front of the fence. I love the shells. I love the pelicans, the seagulls, I love the water. She's got rickrack and it looks like what do you call it? Tulle for the wave edges. And then look at this wonderful sailboat out there. Isn't that terrific? Love, love, love it. Way to go, Miss Debbie. Okay. And oh, I love this quilt. This is so cool. You know, you could use a binding tool, ruler to make those. You just have to make them different lengths. But isn't that beautiful? And then a wonderful tropical summer quilt. I love it. Makes you want to kick back with a margarita in honor of Jimmy Buffett, doesn't it? Oh, yep, we lost Jimmy Buffett yesterday. Okay, let's see. He was so mellow, I didn't think we would lose him anytime soon. Okay. Look at this. This is Laurie's, and I'm going to have to retire the last few of hers. So, Laurie, if you check back in, send us some more. We love your work. Here is a gorgeous, masculine, geographic quilt. Look at that. And the quilting is amazing. Beautiful, beautiful. So Laurie's got a really good eye. Really good eye. So, I think that might be the only two that I kept there. But Laurie, we love your work, hon. All right, Miss Mary. Miss Mary sent me some things hot off the press that I will show you. But here is her Bargello that she did. And I realized she's named it, I think it was like First Date, something like that. And I love that. And then, this is the back of a quilt that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Or actually, no, that's right. This is the back of her Bargello quilt. And you can see the lines she followed to give the Bargello a lot of movement, reinforce the movement from the colors and the placing. So this is called First Date. Then here is a new quilt from her, and I love it. I think she called it something about diamonds. Oh, now I've forgotten, but I love this. And then it looks like, she did roost flowers around the edge. You are so, so talented. Love, love, love it. And I love her piano key border and the way that she quilted it. So I think she's going to give this as a gift, but I'm not going to say anything more until she tells us that she's done it. But look at the pretty backing. I love the backing fabric. We love always looking at the back of quilts because that's the finish line. So thank you, Miss Mary. Love your work, hon. All right. Now, Miss Mary also has a strong voice and a love for this. Ooh. Okay, here is the beach. This is believe it or not, is Lake Michigan. And you would think you're at the ocean somewhere. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's hard to believe. No wonder they're called the Great Lakes. That's pretty great. And then the next one is a beautiful sunset at Lake Michigan. That's beautiful. When you take pictures like this, keep them in a folder somewhere so that you have inspiration for future landscapes. That's just beautiful. All right. And you know what I remember too? Don't let me leave here until I take you to the Myrtle Beach quilt party. site and show you what classes they are offering. All right. I think Miss Sonia is our last one. And oh, well, hold on just 1 second. Let me look for something. I wanted to show you this. I was looking on the site to find um, any photos I might have missed. And let me see where it is, because I'm pretty sure I saved it down here. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Oh, here it is. I hadn't put it yet in her folder. But this, I remember how I tell you that of the technical quilters that I know, Miss Sonia is right up with the best. Look at the work that she does. This is a Jenny Beyer. I think it's a Stellaris. And it was, in fact, did I do this too? I'm trying to remember, but she finishes her stuff. I don't. But just look at all the piecing that goes on here. And all of this was fussy cut with templates. And then this was a border that you had to cut apart from, there's like 5 repeats. Then look at how she mitered the corners so beautifully. And to get this over and under effect and have the things line up. Yes, I did make this one because I had a very hard time getting mine to line up going across. When I tell you that someone is an excellent piecer, quilter, attention to detail, that is our Miss Sonia. She does exquisite work. Now let's go back to her folder to show you her latest quilt. It is really, really nice. And it looks like it was quite a busy quilt. And I don't know who it almost reminds me of a laundry basket quilt, but I'm not sure. Or was it a block of the month? But is this beautiful or what? I mean, that's a lot of work. And I think this is the big one that she was pushing through her domestic. She quilted it on her domestic machine. Now, in all honesty, she has a fantastic domestic machine. But still, I'm in awe of the quilting she does. Pushing and pulling this thing through a domestic machine. But is that beautiful or what? I mean, the applique work, the piecing work, it's just beautiful, beautiful. I love the way the zigzag is incorporated into the border. But this is what I mean when I tell you that she is an amazing quilter. She truly is. And I bet you we could never get her to enter her work in. But if she entered it into a show, it would win for sure. Isn't that beautiful? Her color choices, everything, just beautiful. I love that. She's very talented, ladies. Very, very talented. If I could ever piece a quilt 1/10 that good, I would consider that I had accomplished something. So beautiful, beautiful work. That is an heirloom for sure. Beautiful. What a wonderful quilt to end on. It's a great last word. Oh, her applique. Look at the shape in that leaf. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So thank you, Miss Sonia. Now, give me 1 second, and I'm going to bring up the Myrtle Beach Quilt Show site, show you the classes they're offering, and then see if you can figure out which class or classes Oh, yes, Miss Mary. You and Ann give us the best happy smiles. Your quilting is lively and happy. And trust me, I would never be able to quilt like to quilt in peace like Sonia. It's just not. I think I'm good at doing what I do right now, which is say hi to y'all. But I can never even hope to have something like that. There are just some people that is their gift. I don't have that gift. And you know what? We just run with the gifts that we have. Hold on a second, real quick. Mhm. Here we go. Yay. Hmm. That means okay, this is the Myrtle Beach quilt party that we go to. And of course, it's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Quilt number 1, the Labyrinth Walk. And this is being taught by the teacher I had last year, Debbie Bermer. She's a wonderful teacher. And I enjoyed being in her class. And she did this as if it were a maze with a green grass floor. Then here is Supernova by Dawn Walker is teaching this one. Supernova. There's a different color choice. Then Cynthia Page is teaching this one, which is Alaska by Edita Sitar. And then this one, Stash Buster Rama by Patty Klein. Patty Klein and Cindy Page are sisters, and they're really cute. So that's what she's teaching, 2 different ways. Then here is Ombre Blossom, taught by Nancy Horsley. And what this is, this will teach you how to use ombres to make a much more complicated quilt than you first think it really. Then when you stand back and look at this, it looks a lot more complicated than it really is. So I love that. That's very pretty. Then Susan Edmondson. She's known across the country now, and she does wonderful embellished quilt treasures. So here are some of the collage quilt treasures that she's going to be teaching at this year's Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. And what all 3 days are going to be taught on one class. You used to take 2 classes for that 3 days, but now they've dropped it down to 1, which actually is a good thing. We've all learned, wow, we really get it closer to completion and understand it. This is Judy Lilly. She is one of my 2 mentors that really got me to love landscape quilting, Judy Lilly. And so she's doing this class. And then a teacher I had 2 years ago, Joanne Shropshire, and she's teaching Whirl, which is a right pretty. I'm a sucker for rainbow quilts. And Taferastic by Sandy Jacobs. And they are just going to be rolling in the K-Facet fabrics. Isn't it beautiful? Okay. And then A Star is Born, taught by Donna Royson. Okay. Then let me see. Let me see if I can. I'm going to show you the venue. It is so gorgeous. Okay. The venue is right here at the Doubletree Resort, Myrtle Beach Oceanfront. And the classes are held right here. And we stay in this horseshoe-shaped building. And there's an indoor pool down there. And there's outdoor pools. But when you go in January, you're not going to swim in the ocean or the outdoor pools. But I love that venue. Then let me see. I was going to show you, here are some of the pictures from last year's classes. And I'm going to see if I can find our Lisa. Lisa, you might have to holler if you see us. But look at these classes. What a lot of fun. And this started out as couple ladies getting away for the weekend, away from kids and cooking dinner and housework. And look now what it's turned into. I'm trying to see if I see Lisa. Now here am I. Let me see. There I am right there with my 3 rows of quilt, all that I got done. People like this, oh, look at this. They're just showing off. But I was trying to find our Lisa and I'm not seeing her. But boy, did we have a good time. And that's how I got to know our Lisa now. But here are some of the rest of the classes. Love, love, love. So as you can see, we have really good quality teachers. We have lots of fun. And this looks like maybe show and tell from the teachers, or maybe it's from some of the students. But isn't it lovely? So lots and lots of fun. I love this. There's a simplicity, but very pretty. Okay, so that's the Myrtle Beach quilt party. Now, let me do this one more time. So you have to guess which one Lisa and I chose. Was it 1? Was it 2? Was it 3? Was it 4? Was it 5? Was it 6? Was it 7? Was it 8? Was it 9? Or was it 10? Now, let me come back to see y'all. Let me get my camera turned back around. And then Lisa and I will let you know what we chose. We both were like on the same page. I think, in fact, because you have to put in 3 choices. You hope you get your first choice, but just in case, you have to give the other 2 choices. So let me see. Okay, what are people saying? 7, 7, 8, or 9? Oh, I couldn't see you behind your pink heart. Okay, is everybody done there? The landscape or the ombre? You're going to be surprised when you hear what Lisa and I chose. Lisa, why don't you tell them? And how do we get it? Because Lisa's already getting busy on it. Picking out, looking at her fabrics, pattern, everything. Lisa, you tell them which one we chose, and we're hoping that we get our first choice. I'm kind of shocked at myself because I consider myself not to be a traditional quilter. The Alaska quilt, yes. I'm going to try my first ever Edita Sitar quilt. We're going to do the Alaska quilt, and I think Lisa's going to traditional, what the quilt looks like, and I'm still puzzling whether I'm going to try to do something way out there. I don't know. But that's, Lisa and I are hoping to get back into class together. It's a tough quilt. It's a tough quilt. So, Sonia, I'm probably going to be sending it to you to finish. Because normally that's not, but when I go to do a class, it's like I want to take a class in something that I need to learn or get better at. And I think, and if any of you want to look up and see those classes, let me type it in. But you just type in MBQP And usually it should bring it up, but it's the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. And so you can go and look at it. And if you're on the East Coast or you're willing to fly to come take it, the hotel this year is $114 per night. That's the discount rate. And then it's a $300 fee. And that $300 fee is you get a registration, show and tell that night by the teachers. You get 3 full days of classes. You get a banquet. And every night there's either show and tell by the students or teachers or a yard sale. There's something fun to go to. So I think it's very reasonable considering. And Mardell Smith and her husband Jack are amazing people with it. So, oh, you're getting recliners. Yay. That's wonderful. So anyway, you believe it or not, I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use yet. Do I want to use a white and tan background? I've always wanted to make a blue and tan quilt. Michelle Lang made a gorgeous blue and tan quilt that I really covet. And, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to use an unusual background. I even thought it kind of lends itself to look a little bit like a snowflake quilt. So what if I used like an unusual Christmas color? So, you know. Aw. Oh, that's neat, Edwin. So anyway, yeah, and that's Mark told me. He said, Deb, why you love that quilt? Part of why you love that is those colors. You might want to stick with that. So I'm still toying around with it and probably will be for a while. I have until January. And we've got to get a pattern. We've got to get templates. It's like, oh my goodness, what am I letting myself in for? And remember, I came back from last year's Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. I came back last year saying, what was I thinking with all those half and quarter square triangles? And look what I'm doing. Templates? Are you kidding me? So talk about a blast from the past. Hi, Polly. Oh, yeah. Especially it'd be funny because I was telling everybody about my meltdown. I think Mark was like, oh, boy, here she goes. All right. So now I showed you the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. That was such, I don't know. I do 2 little retreats during the year, but the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party is my heart. I just love it. And one of the reasons I love it is Mark says, go and stay longer. So I go up early and have a couple days by myself doing only what I want to do in the hotel room. So I'm very good. It used to be I'd go up early to try to get prepared for the class, but that is a perfect way to ruin one of these events. When you are supposed to prepare ahead of the class, prepare ahead of the class. Do what you have to rearrange your schedule so that I have a feeling we're supposed to use these templates and cut all these pieces out before the class. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure. It's tricky because you've got Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then in just a few weeks after Christmas, you've got the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. But I'm going to make sure to do it. And Lisa, she's good. She's already jumped on all of this stuff. And she sent me some pictures of her fabrics. They're gorgeous. And so I'm so excited. So, but I go there and I just enjoy. Last year we had an ice storm. It was beautiful. And I go taking pre-made meals. I go prepared to kind of just hunker down and relax. And it's good for my soul. Then when we do all the activities, that's fun too. So, but you know me, I'm kind of a hermit. So I'm very happy to kind of do my own thing most of the time. All right, we've got just a few minutes left. I'll show you again my method of doing all of these paper pieced squares for our new triptych. So let me drop you down here. If you have any questions, write them. Am I going out to dinner tonight? Oh, you're so sweet. You know what I did? I decided to just wear one of my more form-fitting shirts instead of something big. And then I said, oh, because I'm wearing black, I have a necklace and bracelet that I haven't worn in a while. All right. So, well, thank you though. That was very sweet. No, I think Mark is doing a pork loin in the oven, and we are just enjoying relaxing. Okay. So, I showed you the yellow and orange strip. I showed you the red strip, and on our site, or I can send them to you, I have these 6 to a page. Now, this means that they are 3 inches. So by the time you sew them together, they're going to be 2.5 inches. But that's good, because if you used anything bigger, you would end up with the most huge wall hanging. So we don't want that. So, and just to remind you once again, we're going to do a triptych, and I loved the blocks with the sparkling colors. See, by using unusual things, you get sparkling colors. I love the gentle swirl across the thing. We're going to add purple mountains down here. I'm moving my sun over to here, and I'm going to put a moon up here. So we're making some changes, but this is the inspiration. So now I'm in the process of cranking out these paper patterns. And I just finished another J.A. Jantz mystery. Loved it. Free on YouTube. J.A. Jantz. Oh, thank you, Mary, for remembering the rotary cutter. Aren't you? You are such a sweetheart. I mean, yeah, Mary. It is so nice for me to have. It's like y'all would be the best personal assistants anyone could have. So what I did is I took newsprint and I printed out a mess of these. I don't know if it's the 200 that I'm going to need, but I printed out a mess of these. Then I cut them out while I was watching TV and pre-folded them. I love the assembly line process. I think it is terrific. So, okay, so now I worked on reds, I worked on yellows. Now I'm going to work on blues. Now, I'm not saying I have all of the ones I need for any particular color, but I thought instead of making one of each color, make a mess of blues, a mess of reds, and a mess of yellows. So here are the 2 I started with, and most of them are going to have a light center. Some might not. Some are going to have little fun touches of color, because I noticed in the inspiration, that's what made it pop. I've got a glue stick right here, and I'm going to decide my center color for this one. And and here are all my blues. You can tell blue is my favorite color because I sure do have a bunch of blue fabric. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rough cut a block for the center of this. And this is the one that I decided right now to use for the center. And if you recognize this is the fabric from the Bargello, the ocean or beach Bargello. That's right, beach Bargello. So I put a good amount of the glue stick and put this on. Then I hold it, look in the light, and let me see. Oh, I don't have a flashlight, or do I? What you do, yeah, I have a flashlight. Okay. what you do when you're looking to see if it fits is you look through the back side with, whoops, come on. You look through the backside with a flashlight or window or any light, just making sure that you can see fabric beyond that the square lines. And let me see if I turn this off. But I usually use the light. Yeah, there. See how you can see the fabric behind? And that's how you make sure that your piece is centered right and that you have enough fabric. Okay. When will I remove all the paper? You usually keep your paper on until all of these are sewn together. Because when you do paper piecing, you never know what side is the bias, and the bias stretches really badly. So keep the paper on till near the end. Now, by using newsprint, it's very easy to tear. And with arthritis, that's bothering me more and more. Have I showed you this finger? There is the same finger here. Look at that finger. My arthritis is really acting up. And it's like, look at that. Isn't that awful? So, unfortunately, that happens when we get older. But using newsprint, by the time I shorten my stitch length down to 1.8, that helps in the tearing process later. Also, having shorter stitches means that your piece will hold together better because you're going to put a little stress on it tearing off the paper. Also, pre-folding helps you see where the lines are because you put the fabric on the other side, but it also starts that process of being able to tear the paper off a little easier. So now I've got my center. Now I look for a small piece to go right here, A2. So I think I'm going, since my first one's a little busy, I'm going to go with a solid here. And what I do is I lay this on top of that other fabric, and then I turn it over, making sure that I've got that fabric within that seam line. Double check it. And then with your small stitch length, you start ahead of the sewing line and you continue after the sewing line. See how you start and finish extra? Okay. Then you can look and see if you have anything to trim up before you fold it back. Let me grab my iron. Okay. And I put a audio book on, and I sit there and I just mindlessly do. I'm mindlessly do this sewing. So now I've given it a quick press, and since these are so small, I don't feel like I have to use a rotary cutter or mat. I just use my handy snips. Also, if you're having any problem with arthritis, I highly recommend these Fiskars. These scissors are wonderful. I have like 3 pairs because they are so good. They get a little dirty sometimes because I use them a lot when I'm gluing either paper beads or gluing the new project we're working on, the stained glass. So I get them a little bit dirty, but you can wash them. But they're just so easy because I only have to move my hand one way to make the scissor action. I don't have to fit my fingers inside scissor holes, which makes my fingers sore. I just go like this. These are wonderful. All right. And buy the best quality. It does make a difference. Now I need to put the next piece of fabric where it says A3. A3. So I think I'm going to pick something that's a little brighter here. And you can tell I raided my scrap drawer for this project. Huh. Oh, look at this. This came from something I was working on. I guess the ocean quilt. This had been part of a sky that I took off. So let me pull off a couple of these clouds. I save it, you know. Hey, it's a scrap. All right. So, okay, pulled off some clouds. Now I'm going to throw those away. I don't need to save those. Okay. I know the glue will come off. So now what I do is put it on A3. I lay this, making sure I've got at least 1/4 of an inch before where I have to sew, and then sew on the line, the next line between A2, A1, A2, and A3. Okay. And see if, yep, there's stuff to clean up right here. And if you sew, sometimes you have to pull it back a little bit. But if you've sewn it, you know, over sewn it like you're supposed to, just pull it back. All right. And I want to thank Carol Doak, who was the wonderful, she perfected the whole paper piecing industry. And I wanted to thank her. I used to belong to her site, and she was so generous. It had so many fun things for us to do. And I think a lot of her. I love these smart pioneers in this industry. Love, love, love them. All right, so now we have 3 pieces. Sometimes people find it a little hard because you're constantly going back and forth. And it's like you work from behind. So I put this here. Now, if I want, I can go ahead and nip off that piece. I know I don't need it. All right. So I line this up, making sure that you've got enough. Fold it back like this and go, okay. You know that if you see all fabric here, you've got it in the right place. So then come under here. Now, you know how cheap I am, but I have learned that with paper piecing, don't try to cheap it out, because if you do, you'll end up making mistakes, and then you'll waste more fabric than if you had just wasted a little bit. So now I'm going to trim this up, you know, close to around 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little less. Then I will fold this out. And if you don't want to constantly have to iron it, you can use a piece of a clothespin or a wooden iron, they call them, or just your finger. Press it back like this, then flip it over and cut along the lines. Some people paper piece them and then wait to trim it until the very end, because it is very striking when all of a sudden, woo, you're done. I've been pressing them really well each time. I think I'm going to use this unusual color. And I'm going to use some purples on this one. On these blues. I might even use some greens, because the more interest I have here, the more sparkly this quilt will be. So now I've lined this up, and I know I have plenty, and I come and stitch right along. Okay. There we go. I saw the best show. I'm trying to think of whether it was on BritBox or was it on Netflix, and it was called The Wife. I think it was Netflix. My gosh, it was good. Glenn Close was in it. Oh, I talked Mark's ear off about that last night. Let me tell you. I was telling him the whole storyline. And it was a good story to watch, because it was more complicated than you'd first think. It was very dimensional. So, okay, there we go. There is the block. Hi, Diana, sweetie. Yeah, we're about done too, but it's so good to see you. All right, so here are 3 of the difference. Now, do you see how already they're going to sparkle? And I've got some fabrics that are almost black. They're so dark. In fact, some of them are more black than blue, I would say. But use that all the way to really pale ones. Then I threw in a batik. Then let me see. Look at this. Interesting. I would assume this is a batik too. So I've thrown in all kinds of this is for our new triptych because I finished the other triptych and didn't want to cut it apart. So now I'm doing this because then I'll cut this one apart. So we're going to have purple mountains, then the orange and the yellow and the red, the blue, and I'm going to move the sun down here and put a moon up here. So there's sun and the moon. So it's still having a little bit of the earth, wind, and fire, but something that I am fine with cutting up. So let me show you one more time. Oops. Well, let me see. Let me show you the original and just show again anybody later getting here. This is the stained glass quilt that I'm working on. A lot of fun. It's like kind of like doing a puzzle. But here was the Earth, Wind, and Fire triptych. And the more I did it, the more I started falling back in love with it. And then I said, I don't want to cut it up because I felt like it needed to be together to get the full impact. Sometimes cutting an artwork into multiple pieces can really give it a bold impact. I feel like with this one, it would minimize the impact. So, okay. So that's what we've got. And I challenge you to help me figure out what I can use this to do. You could put it on your bathroom window to give you some privacy. But what can I do with this? Isn't that interesting? It came with something I had ordered with stuff down in it. Nice and safe. And it's real firm. So I'm hoping to find something I can do with it so I don't have to throw it away. All righty. And just to show you again, here is one of the red strips that go on this new triptych that we're doing. And here's one of my yellow oranges for the triptych. And having enough of a color range to really give it some. Oh, I know. I was going to show you one. Let me get my pictures up. How in the world, Lisa, I'm going to be texting you after this, girlfriend. All right, let me see. I wanted to show you a couple pictures on here. My daughter is growing a plant for me called, whoops, let me move this out of the way, called Job's Tears, Jobs Tears. Whoops. Now, come on. Okay. And they're little beads. It's like a grass type plant. And when I worked at the Historic Museum in Maryland, it was a Catholic colony, and Catholicism was a no-no in England. And people had to hide their religion. So they would grow Job's Tears because it makes a hard little bead once you pull the seed out of the center. It has a hole all the way through. It makes a hard little bead, and they would make rosaries out of them. So they didn't have to buy a rosary. They could make it. And that was one of the ways. So my daughter is growing me some of those, which I'm so excited about. And then, let me see. Let me go to my photos. But my daughter is such a talented gardener. I mean, it's like, is there anything she can't do? It's amazing. Oh, where are my photos? Okay. Here's the new microwave we had to go out and buy. If I'm going to spend money, I want to spend it on fabric. I started getting tomatoes. So excited. Okay, let me see. I think that's pretty much Okay, so let me go back. All right, let me show you my Katie's flowers. Okay, this girl can grow some flowers. Okay, both my daughters are pretty darn good gardeners. Okay, so this is my daughter who has the sheep and goats. These are part of her flowers. I love flowers. Here's another here, her zinnias. I was never able to grow zinnias. They got powdery mildew. Look at this zinnia. Isn't that amazing? And it's a bold fuchsia. And here she has a cosmos with a bee on it. I love that. You have a red microwave. That's cool, Marcia. That is so neat. Okay, I think so. Just so talented. So anyway, that's about it for me for pictures. But I'm at least getting tomatoes. Oh, we have a big fig tree out front. And Kiwi, who I'm almost brought down today, I've really been working with her, and she's now coming out of molting rage. And so I will be bringing her down. But I told Mark, he went out and said, look, I got some ripe figs. And I said, wait, I'm going to give one to Kiwi, because I had remembered looking up one time green cheek conures, which is what kind of bird she is, that they came from a region of South America that they love figs. That was their number one food. So I got the fig out, and I bit half myself, and I held it up, and she started nibbling, and she went, oh, and she got so excited. And so I put it in her cage, and I was eating part, and she was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And it was precious. But boy, the crows, the squirrels, everybody wants my figs. So anyway, but that's about it for today. So I love you have a red hot dog maker and red microwaves. Oh, y'all are something else. And happy birthday, our Miss Jody. Be thinking of our Michelle. Keep her close to your thoughts. I'm hoping our Anne, she's had her eye surgery. I think she's doing pretty good. And we know our Melanie is continuing to improve with her new shoulder replacement. And so, everybody, you're so wonderful. Yes, enjoy. Tomorrow's your holiday day. I hope you're going to just do something that makes your heart happy, even if it means sitting on the couch. So, thank you for joining me. I love spending my Sundays with you. You make my heart happy. And y'all are the best. Big Red. That was my nickname when I was a majorette. I'll have to show you a picture one day why they started calling me Big Red. But anyway, I'm a tall girl. But our costumes were red sequins. So that's funny. Thank you for joining me. Have a great week. Do something good for yourself. I'll see some of you Thursday night at our normal time for Art Quilt Thursdays. All right. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great holiday. Happy birthday again, Miss Jody. It's a great birthday. Very great. Take good care. So good seeing all of you. You are doll babies. And welcome to our hopefully new member. So fun. All right, now, if I can get I had to get my mouse to work. Bye-bye, y'all. See you.